him being honored at his old Baskin-Robbins. Now, this is, of course, a callback to the first Ant-Man film, where this was his first job when he got out of prison, and they fired him when they found out that he had a record.
Well, he was fired, of course.
Now he's been given an award for Employee of the Century, and this guy is the boss who actually fired him in the first place. Now notice that the name tag on the photo says Jack because he worked there under a pseudonym.
Baskin-Robbins always finds out.
Ironic that now they're celebrating him and he wasn't even allowed to work there under his own name. Notice also how his suit is slightly different now with this circle on the chest. I can't help but think that the quantum suits in Endgame might have had some effect on this design. Those suits were designed by Tony Stark, but did not feature a circle in the middle of them. However, the quantum suits would have given Scott and Hank Pym access to some Stark tech, specifically the way that Stark's power systems always seem to be routed through an object on his chest. So the redesign could be based in Stark tech, or it could just be a tribute to the fallen hero, Tony Stark. Then he high-fives a kid with an Ant-Man backpack, a big step up from when they didn't even know his name in Endgame.
Do you want to grab one with me? I'm Ant-Man.
Now, of course, he's not just an Avenger, he is a guy who literally saved the universe by coming up with the whole quantum plan to begin with. He and Hope get invited to red carpets, like this one, for the Global Service Humanitarian Award sponsored by the Anthropology Society of America, where Scott is probably getting a trophy for, saving reality.
A way that we can enter the quantum realm at a certain point in time, but then exit the quantum realm at another point in time, like before Thanos.
Yes, me, that rat is the real hero who should get the award.
Truth, high five. And by the way, if you guys would like to support our channel, please check out our merch store at shopzeroedition.com with the link in the description. We have Screen Crush branded shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and every month we have a new limited release, like the sweet original trilogy t-shirt and this new shirt, Not the Bees.
Not the bees!
Not the bees!
Please help support our channel by checking out the shop. Everything is high quality fabric, fits great, and hey, let us know what you think we should be selling down in the comments below. Now back to the trailer. Now, of course, he might be famous now, but Scott is still just Scott, and not everybody actually knows who he is.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
Now, this is a callback to this joke.
There's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man?
It may also...
Introducing Discover Online Privacy Protection. We'll help remove your personal data from 10 popular people search websites. Because the thing about your personal information is that it should stay
There's no sign of garbage. I mean, I don't know what flavor I'm eating.
free from Discover.
It's like black hole cherry.
Do you want to hang out?
Ah!
I designed her to protect Kitty from feeling lonely or sad. Megan, your job is to protect Kitty. I won't let anything harm you.
Ooh, I like this.
Go say something.
Best Friends 4S.
Did Megan do something bad?
Megan.
They also show how public opinion about Spider-Man has started to shift. Remember that Mysterio did frame him for murder, and then right after revealed his secret identity, which was of course undone in Spider-Man No Way Home. But here's the thing, I wonder if the strange memory spell from the end of that movie made people forget about Peter Parker, but also undid people thinking that he killed Mysterio. I mean, the Department of Damage Control did clear Peter's name in the movie, but there's probably still some Mysterio truthers out there. It is nice to see some people out there who support Spidey and don't believe Quentin Beck. Notice the coffee shop has lots of San Francisco themed drinks. For one, it's called the Bridge Cafe, named after the Golden Gate Bridge. And the drinks are named after San Fran locations or events. The Embarcadero, Summer Club, The Hive, Presidio, Pier 39, Golden Gate, and the Candlestick after Candlestick Park. The abstract art in the coffee shop also looks a lot like the design of the Quantum Realm, foreshadowing what is to come. Back to the Pym household, which we see has been moved back to its original location after Hank placed it on the beach in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then we meet a recast Cassie Lang, now played by Catherine Newton, from Detective Pikachu and Big Little Lies. Now, I don't think that Marvel ever said exactly why they recast Cassie from Endgame. It might be because Emma Furman tweeted a picture of herself announcing that she'd been cast in that movie. Or maybe they just wanted a different actor because Cassie is going to become the superhero stature like she is in the comics. We've mentioned this a lot on this channel, but she is sure to be among the young Avengers, like all of these other people who have popped up in other Marvel shows and movies. In the lab, we see a map of the world with post-it notes, maybe like they're tracking world events or people who need help. It does seem like their team is more active in helping people because Cassie has even created a quantum signal so people down below can call for their aid.
Because she's a super genius now.
Apparently so.
Okay then.
The beacon is next to a mug that reads World's Best Dad. Now, it could belong to Hank or Scott. It would actually be really sweet if it belonged to Hank, because Hope rezipped it himself him so much in the first movie, and this would show how far their relationship has come. And one of the books on the table is Dr. Eleanor's book of Common Ants of California, and there's a monitor with a readout of an ant in the background right here. And also, this book is called Journey to the Ants. Now, notice the t-shirt that Cassie is wearing. To me, this looks like a climate change graphic t-shirt, similar to the science graphic tees that Peter Parker's always wearing. And this would make sense with Cassie becoming a scientist like Hope and the rest of the Van Dynes. So Cassie invents this quantum beacon, and Janet is immediately horrified.
Turn it off.
Now.
So let's back up for a second and talk about Janet's experience in the quantum realm. Remember that she was forced to go subatomic while on a mission.
She turned off her regulator and went subatomic.
And then the last movie was all about the team recovering her from the quantum realm. We also found out that over the years, she had been imbued with quantum energy, which allowed her to help Ghost with her phasing problem. Now, there is a crucial deleted scene from Quantumania where she drops a bigger tease for this movie.
Worlds upon worlds, entire civilizations, far more than we ever theorized.
And you can tell how close this came to being included in the movie because a lot of the visual effects have been finished. So this conversation was clearly intended to be canon. Janet spent 30 years in the quantum realm building a new life for herself.
We have no leaders. We follow only the will of the forest.
So in this movie, she'll be running into some of those people from her past. And she'll be a guide for the family as well. Clearly, she knew that there was someone dangerous in the quantum realm because she is afraid. Kang the Conqueror? Exactly. So it looks like Kang pulls this family into the quantum realm because, as we'll see in a bit, he needs something from them. But we'll talk about Kang, who he is, and what he wants a little later in the video. Just be patient. So they get sucked into the quantum realm, which is a bit different in the comics where it was called the microverse. And it's a lot like what we see here, another universe inside of our own filled with civilizations and cities. Oh, and notice how Scott let go of this on purpose just so he could follow Cassie inside. Now notice there's all these vortexes in the sky, like gateways to other timelines or realities.
Like the Devil's Anus and Thor Ragnarok.
Kind of, but not really.
Okay, so wait, so what do you mean by other timelines and realities? This is the quantum realm.
Okay. Look, I'll give you a brief explanation, but I don't want to spend too much time on this because we're trying to break down this trailer. Basically, the multiverse is made up of different realities or universes, like we saw in Multiverse of Madness and in Loki. Now, the show Loki revealed that when someone travels through time or makes a weird decision, like stealing the Tesseract, that causes a branch in the timeline, and that branch is now a new reality or a new universe. So, new realities are actually being created all the time. In Avengers Endgame, the Avengers use the quantum realm to travel between realities and to revisit different times and places. So the quantum realm actually exists in between the multiverse.
Because, like me, it is so small.
Exactly. So, Scott.
Hey, bye!
This is a personalized ad. It helps.
Scott is wearing his super suit. He probably kept it shrunk down in his pocket, or, like every other suit in the MCU, it might just appear over him with the click of a button. So then he and Cassie encounter all these weird-looking natives. There's a robot with a battery on its head. These people in masks. There's warriors, wizards. I think that these are the people who live outside the city. They're the road agents, the vagabonds, the people who don't belong.
It all looks like Shark Boy and Lava Girl to me.
You're right. Robert Rodriguez was a pioneer. High five. Seeing all these people explains how Janet got her gear when she was living in the quantum realm. My guess is that she initially traveled to the city that we see later, but then she left and settled among these outsiders. Now, a little later in the trailer, we see this person kneeling in front of a table or a pool as they watch 4 beams of light in the sky. I think these beams are Janet, Hank, Hope, Scott, and Cassie entering the quantum realm. Scott and Cassie are together, so their beam is a little brighter than the rest. And this beam, Hope, is her being separated from her parents. So the family initially has to find each other. So in this shot, we see Hank, Janet, and Hope in some kind of weird forest, maybe looking for Scott and Cassie. Like, I think this shot is Hope shortly after she lands in this forest. That she's in her suit, which she would have kept in her pocket, but she looks very worried. So this whole thing, the weird scenery, the aliens, and pop soundtrack also reminds us a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy. Janet then clarifies what the quantum realm is.
It's a secret universe beneath ours.
Then back to that shot I mentioned earlier, and notice these weird snail-like horse creatures looking up at the sky, like all those illustrations of dinosaurs watching the meteor hit Earth. Then we see the Pyms reunited and find a giant fleshy stingray over the quantum realm. Again, Janet knows how to navigate this place, so she probably learned how to ride one of these things like she's one of the Na'vi. These orbs in the background are also very reminiscent of the Dark Dimension, so this seems like a really good time to mention that we actually saw the quantum realm here in the first Doctor Strange when the Ancient One was showing Stephen different realities. So the quantum realm is actually one more reality in a vast multiverse. multiverse that includes different timelines and a freaky weird hand dimension.
Ah!
Family getting disguises, a lot like the hats and sunglasses they wore in the last movie.
It's not a disguise, Hank. We look like ourselves at a baseball game.
Hope is even wearing a hat that looks like a ball cap. This is where Janet says,
There's something I never told you.
as we get our first look at Kang the Conqueror, placing a power source inside of some kind of battery. Now, Kang the Conqueror is one of the greatest all-time Avengers villains in the comics. He's a time traveler from the distant future who got so bored with his peaceful era that he decided to travel into ancient Egypt and conquer the past. He time traveled so much that he created like an endless amount of variants of himself